Good morning, everybody. Happy Friday. I think it's Friday. The week has gone by very quickly. Um, yeah, it's very interesting when your body takes a redirection that it wasn't prepared for. Your perspective changes, and that's what I'm saying. Every biochemical change, every exposure to a new variant of a virus, and you support it correctly, and you be with it, you're going to be thinking about things because you're not going to be distracted. That's at least my assumption if you're on the jelly juice, is that if you're on the jelly juice and you're feeling sick, you're going to take rest and you're going to think about stuff. And yeah, you might watch Netflix videos and all that stuff, but if you're focusing on something in your world that you're trying to accomplish or you have a problem, you will eventually come to a conclusion or a solution to whatever problem or something that you don't even know that's been plaguing you. And it's interesting. I decided with my book to cover the 13 bloodlines, okay, which is like a rather ambitious task considering how much information there is and then all the characterizations of the 13 bloodlines. And it's just like there are many books already written. Like Fritz Springmeier has books about the 13 bloodlines. There are so many people out there in the conspiracy world that have their viewpoints on the 13 bloodlines. And I'm like, I could do like what everybody else is doing and mischaracterize or focus only on the negative and on the loose versus the contributions. And so, but I didn't really have that thought process prior to me taking this hiatus. Because I've been doing my own thing. It's like just sitting and watching Netflix for like a week straight because I was so fatigued from this damn variant that I was exposed to over this last weekend. And I'm just like, oh, God, and it's like, but sometimes you have to have a redirection of energy. You can get on a freaking loop on a cycle. And I have been exposing all the different sides to every argument, like, the vaccine industry, the pros and cons of that. Every single argument that's pro and con or for and against, I've shown you both sides, okay? And my book, then I'm like wrestling with how am I going to set the tone of my book, my next book, not the book I have out now, because the book I have out now is basically science. There is nothing about religion. There's really nothing about politics. And there really isn't, anything about history, okay, with my current book that's out, The Evolution. It's just strict science and jelly juice and what to expect, which is great. And I'm going to have another book like that in the future that has even more complete information. So that way, if the book that I'm writing now that's going to be released sometime towards the end of the year is going to have politics, religion, and science in it, there's going to be a book that's going to have just the science. Okay? And so I'm going to characterize like the 13 bloodlines with what they contributed to the world to set up our society with the infrastructure. Because it's interesting, what kind of prompted me to do this is when I went to because I at first I was like, okay, I'm going to take 10% of this website and then put it in my book. But then what am I doing? I mean, I'm just reinventing the wheel. We already know the different perspectives of history. We already know we've had a very horrific history. The Indians went through it. We know the Tuskegee Airmen went through it. We know that the slavery existed. The Holocaust happened. There's been a lot of very negative stuff that happened in history. Now, I could be like everybody else and focus only on the negative, or I could say this, with the jelly juice, since we are in like a new world and we want to recreate the future, but create it from acknowledging the past without focusing on it, but then also now we have a very different outcome. You will have now two choices. You can either choose to get all of your marbles and all of your duckies now in a very limited lifespan and enjoy your life, which is fine, great, a lifespan. Or you could face your demons, forego all of the marbles and all your jewels and all the things that you think that you want now, the worldly pleasures, and you let that go for a minute and focus on your healing. So that way you can enjoy a very long life with a very diverse future. That's not just pigeonholing you into one or two jobs within a 50, 60, 70-year lifespan. Okay, so now that we have this, why would I go into the negatives of the past? Because when I went to that same website where I got a lot of my information about the 13 bloodlines, it disappeared. And then I'm just like, oh my God, this is so crazy. Because it was just up like last week. I was like, so I guess, Facebook saw it and the powers that be saw that website. And maybe it was a copyright thing. Because yes, they're taking excerpts from Fritz Springmeier, and put it out there. And so it could be a copyright thing. But it was under the radar because it wasn't getting a lot of press until I guess maybe I posted it. And then everyone started going to it and posting it. And I'm like, oh shit. So whatever, but that's okay. But then that kind of told me that, okay, so what is the New World Order trying to do? Well, we're trying to move forward past all that crap. Because yes, the way Fritz Springmeier, the way that person in that website who wrote that website, the way they characterized all the 13 bloodlines was very negative. And I was going to sanitize some of the language if I was going to actually paste 10% of that information into my book. If that was my original thought, if I was going to keep doing that and take away the word satanic and take away all the negative connotations and just put the information. But I don't even need to put in all the information to have even the tone seem like it's coming from a very negative point of view. Because there are facts of the matter. Is that we have people like the Rockefellers, the Rothschilds, the Bundys, the Krupps, the McDonalds, the Reynolds, the Collins, the Kennedys, the Onassis, all of them have contributed major amount of infrastructure and ideas and, ways to make living easier to our world for so many years. They have given us a society that we can be proud of on some level once you take away all the crazy excess loose energy. Okay, they've made their mistakes. Let me tell you, history was made on the backs of the yin and yang of ethics and morals. Okay, we know this. How many of you made mistakes in your past that you were probably not proud of? And lucky for us in the 80s and the 70s, anyone prior to the internet, we made our mistakes without it being broadcasted all over the internet. Okay? And so I'm glad that I didn't have my mistakes broadcasted to the world, except through Jilly Juice, but that was to be expected. But I mean, as you grow up and you're a child, right, and you don't really know any better, you're going to make your mistakes, and you hope that people are not going to only remember you for your mistakes. What is remember? Not that you're going to die, but that you have the two options. The dead can remember the living because they do visit people in their dreams, and the living can remember the dead. So again, you still have the two options, okay? And so how do you want to be remembered, regardless of which side of the coin you're on? Do you want to be remembered for your mistakes, or do you want to be remembered for your contributions? And so then it dawned on me how I'm going to characterize the 13 bloodlines, because I want my book to stand the test of time. I don't want to be more of the same crap that's out there where everyone's focusing on the negative and all the crap that I've had to endure. Because yes, I grew up on Jilly Juice when you think about it. I grew up to a certain point, in my 30s, right? Based upon the information that was given to me. But then Jilly Juice opened up another door of growth that had to be exhibited because I was an online virtual influencer, so to speak, and I still am, which deserves some kind of credibility because yes, Jilly Juice is a contribution to humanity, whether you believe it or not. It is, because people are gaining value from it. And so when somebody gains value from the Jilly Juice, you could say a sucker's born every minute, you can say all those type of things, because I said it too. But either way, somebody is gaining value from Jilly Juice. And so instead of me focusing like what everybody else focuses on, oh, she made mistakes and she fucked up here, or she was like this and she was like that, there must be something written that isn't mentioning my fuck ups. But let me tell you, mainstream media likes mentioning your mess ups. When you're doing great, they won't say anything about you. But when you are messing up is when you will see somebody in the news. And it happens. The reason why you see some people who are doing great in the media is because it is gearing towards something in the market that is going to help somebody line the bottom line. Okay? Because, I would be very surprised if mainstream media actually gave me press, because it would mean that they're not as evil as we think they are. But until I actually get my book out, I won't know. if mainstream media is actually egalitarian as they claim to be, like CNN and Fox claim to be, what is it? Fair and balanced, right? Fair and balanced, or trying to help the little person, or create diversity and acceptance to new ideas and new ways of thinking. I mean, that's what they're promoting in CNN, right? We're all about new ways of thinking and diversity and new ideas and new this and new that. But then, hey, wait, someone says they want to live, or they can live indefinitely. What the hell? And they go and be exactly the opposite of what they're promoting. So I'm going to test the media in the next 10, 15 years to see if they actually are what they say they are, fair and balanced, promoting diversity. But I have to lead by example, which means that I can't be playing the same games that they're playing, always promoting the loose energy and focusing on the negative. And so, yes, there is some acknowledgement, and there is some, okay, we know this happened, but we've made mistakes. And I really understood that when I'm watching The Walking Dead, through the different, scenes that they have. You're like, yeah, we've made mistakes. We've done this. I could see the system speaking through the scripts of these movies that are not just for entertainment. They are for letting you guys kind of know what the system is focusing on, what they're trying to create for the future or convert to the future. And so I know that, someone like Greta Thunberg, whatever her name is, seems like she's very out there, and people are like, oh, she's so great. I mean, anybody, yes, can speak very good on, or speak very well and be articulate about the fears of the future. But really, in my opinion, this is now just my opinion, it's very easy to speak about what we should be doing to a people out there that really are going to do what they're going to do until they pass away. So then what you're doing is just, trying to promote something that is really not going to make a difference until people actually biochemically change. And that means that they may have to pass away. That means that they may have to do the Jilly Juice. That means that they just, and so that they fulfill whatever obligations they're doing today, because you're not going to convert somebody. Greta Thunberg and all the different people in the media that are trying to shove, change down people's throats. Some people will accept it. You see already people galvanizing behind Earth Day. Okay, I get Earth Day. I get it. But you can't convert people that don't believe. But it's easy to talk about those that don't believe, right? Versus just moving on with the program, upping the internet, or upping the grid, promoting out more viruses, I guess, more aggressive therapeutics, and then you will get the lessened population to where the earth is not going to be as compromised. But yeah, just simply getting on a political bandwagon and trying, like you guys have done it. You guys have been on their bandwagon, like, oh, you should wear a mask, not wear a mask, or you should get a vaccine or not get a vaccine. And you're met with resistance. Okay? And so, so instead of converting people, we just move on. We just let nature run its course. Okay? Let nature run its course. And then, yes, Darwinism is going to be at play. I mean, Darwin is very, he's very appropriate now, and he was appropriate back then when he was first, discovered, as far as all of his theories. And so I plan to be part of the future. I plan to have my book be timeless, where we do recognize we've made the mistakes of the past. Am I going to outline every mistake of all the 13, 17 bloodlines? Absolutely not. I'm going to put, this is when they were, originated from, or the dates that they were originated from, 1800, 2000 BC, whatever. And then the name of the bloodline. And then you can Google all that stuff and you'll find all the loose energy about the bloodline. So I'm not going to be a party to that. But I'm going to mention the bloodline, and I'm going to mention where they originated from, whether it's USA or Germany or the Netherlands or they're Dutch. And then I'm going to say what industries they were influencing. And then you can make your own conclusion connections on how you want to see them. And then, yes, I'm going to also put that we were bred to be diverse. We were bred not to be equal. We were bred to fulfill specific jobs. And now the whole point of agility juice is to give you a choice. You could be bred to do whatever someone has appointed you to do based upon genetics and family, family line and your geographical location, or you can take control of your own life and you have a choice on what you want to breed yourself for. Because you can actually redirect your future just by changing your biochemistry. And so that's what I'm going to offer. So yes, biotech and the CRISPR gene editing and all the different therapeutics are definitely changing your genetics, and it's for good for the most part, but it's not for those that can't handle it. But then Agility Juice will help you support that diversification, will help you support that diversification so that way you don't have to pass away in the end. Because I don't even want to say it's going to be easy. It's not. Okay, my Agility Juice is freaking hard. But it's not as hard as you think it is. But it is mind over matter. And if you don't have the mind, then it's going to be very hard to really figure out where the matter is. Now, I know that sounds kind of exaggerated, like who doesn't have a mind? But it really does take, I had to sometimes I had to just steel myself when I was taking the juice. And I just thought about other things. And I almost didn't even breathe as I was drinking the juice. And then at some point, my body did take over and started bringing in the juice, more of it, more of it, more of it. So at some point, some aspect of you is going to take over. Okay, your body, mind, and spirit is separated in three different entities, but it's also conjoined with communication. And so sometimes your body will take over your mind, right? Which is kind of weird because in your body and your mind, but no, there are three separate entities. Your body and your mind and your spirit are three separate things that have been exploited. And yeah, there are nefarious people out there. I mean, I'm not denying the fact that there are very nefarious people out there. But remember, when you are dealing with your body trying to adapt to a new environment, and there's specific intelligence, specific blueprint of your body, okay, you can't house all the parasites in the world. You can't house all the proteins in the world in your body. Your body has a limitation based upon the design. And so, yeah, if you have excess parasites that used to reside in your body in major colonies to where you felt infection, those are going to be gone. Okay, infection is just evolution that hasn't been distributed correctly. And so, yeah, what's going to be evil is the fact that you're going to release the excess of which wants to stay with you. Well, that's kind of what the evil out there is. They're trying to release the excess. But I do mention in my book about that there is sanctioned and unsanctioned crimes. There are sanctioned crimes that you will have an expiration date because, yes, people are making money off the sanctioned crimes. And then there's unsanctioned crimes that, yes, you make money, but you definitely have an expiration date, and it's probably faster that you're going to be caught. Because let me tell you, the FBI and the CIA and all the different agencies, they have their finger on the pulse. Not many people can get away with building an empire. I mean, I was watching The Queen of the South, and you have to have a certain amount of government buy-in for you to be able to operate in a city to distribute, cocaine. I was like, I'm watching, it's a very gory movie about the Mexican cartels in Sinaloa. I mean, I was stuck on that. And then I'm learning more about the norteños and the serreños that are in, California. But I'm telling you, there is sanctioned and unsanctioned crimes. And so you have to choose. And I also mentioned in my book that, yes, there's three choices in your life. You be a law abider and you work in the light, or you work under the cover of darkness with sanctioned or unsanctioned crimes. And either way, there's an expiration date for those crimes. And then there's the one that pulls the strings. But who cares? Somebody had to create the universe. And then that whole thing with the Enki, E-N-K-I, with the 0 divided by 1, which is an abnormal division where you take something from nothing. The whole universe and everything was created from nothing. It really was. Which means that you can create from nothing. which means that do you always have to go to the negative? We know the negative exists. So then in this next world with Jilly Juice and my book, more focusing on the positives and the contributions of the 13 bloodlines, where are you going to get your Lush energy to give you that rush, to give you that energy conversion so you can convert it to good? Well, you're going to watch TV. You're going to watch other people destroy their own lives. It sucks. And that's the Lush energy you're going to get to actually you're going to increase your opportunities. Is because you're going to gain the energy from TV, from movies, from even watching your friends and family. I gained so much Lush energy and converted it to my benefit from my trolls and from the people on the Jilly Juice who are still stuck in the activist crowd, who are still stuck afraid of 5G and the vaccines and Bill Gates and the chemtrails. And so that's where I drive my energy, is I take your negative energy that you're stewing in and I convert that shit. Yesterday the last couple of days I've been in a loop with this damn COVID. And then someone that I know was contacted by a troll. She wanted to make sure I was okay because the guy was being stupid, right? Total stalker. And I was like, and she was in an appointment. I really wanted to get a hold of her and talk to her. And we finally did. She's like, don't worry. I don't believe all the trolls. The trolls are stupid. I just want to make sure that you're okay. Because no one's, we love you, Jillian, and no one's going to talk smack about you because we know you personally and you've contributed so much to our family, And so, and I was like, great. So I just wanted to make sure that she was okay too. I didn't know exactly what direction this troll was taking, but I also know people's fears out there. And that gave me a shot of freaking adrenaline. That was the energy I needed to then figure out how I was going to characterize the 13 bloodlines. It might be more of the Lush energy and then the shit that's already out there. Or am I going to redirect the people in my world, assuming that they can take on the new information, and then allow them, have them see that you can still you can still take the energy that's out there from other people's suffering, because you're watching the news, you're taking that suffering, and you can convert it, and you can take that energy and use it to your advantage. You can't help those that don't help themselves, okay, you guys? You got to realize that. You cannot help those that help themselves. So what do? You take their energy from their suffering and you make it work to your benefit. If it means that it's someone close to you or somebody on the news or all the crap that goes on, whatever, take whatever energy you can get to then help you convert it to your benefit. And so that's how I'm going to, say, hey, because there's 500 million people, not everyone's going to do Jilly Juice in the near future. If we actually realize the Georgia Guidestones. So let's say maybe 100 million are doing Jilly Juice, and then 400 million are all Lush energy for all to be harnessed. Fucking take it. Just take it. You can't help the 400 million that are that oblivious. But at least the 100 million that are doing the Jilly Juice will figure it out and be the leaders in our society. And that's all I'm giving you is the option. The choice in the matter. You can be the 400 million that's all about suffering and Lush energy and demonizing somebody, or it could be the 100 million that's going to live, it's going to thrive, it's going to know how to sidestep bullshit and then harness the energy to your benefit and to your family's benefit. And that's all I'm doing, is giving you guys a choice. Lucifer and Satan reside on the same plane. One cannot exist without the other, but now you have a choice. Which side do you want to be on? And then how can you work in harmony with the dark and the light? And that's all it is. All right.